Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I am your host, Dennis Batholkis, and this is Saturday Morning Blast Off. Welcome, everybody. There's a lot of news this week. A lot of fucking news this week. And, of course, it helped that, Star Wars Celebration was this week, so that was the reason why. They decided to announce everything from everywhere that they're doing. There was a lot of news, and it just kept updating. More and more and more and more. Hey, Slurmy. Hey, Morks. Viking Bitch. How's everyone doing? I take Fanobi's out working, or he's out at the auto store again, that kind of thing. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute there, Morks. I'm going to let more people come in, so... Yeah, I had to start. I was going to start a little bit later, but then I was like, nope, can't do it. I got to start on time because someone's got a little date with the groomer and doesn't know about it. She's sitting on the couch over there and is blissfully. Actually, she just looked at me kind of side-eyed for a second. So I'm fairly sure she knows what's up. So let's see what we got going on here. I'll start with some of the low-hanging fruit. So Hannah, the Amazon show based off the really kind of lackluster movie that was done in the early 2000s, has been renewed for season 2 at Amazon. I went through it. I got through the entire season, and I was kind of like, "That's it, really? Do you really need a second season?" Because it was all right, but yeah, I wasn't. I really wasn't sold on it, to tell you the truth. Yeah, it just, I don't know. There was something about it didn't work right. Stanley Tweedle, hey, how's it going? Looking forward to your Cloak and Dagger reviews. Fanobi told me you'd be starting with that soon. Actually, Stanley, from what I understand, that Fanobi is supposed to be doing these with me. He's going to take the lead on that one, is what he said, because he's such a big fan of Cloak and Dagger that he was going to take the lead on that one. I'm not going to be involved with any of them. I'm not going to be there, but I will run. I'll set it up so he can go through and talk about it, because he likes to talk about every single episode for at least 4 hours at a time. So you guys are in for a super treat on that. Yeah. And quite honestly, so going back to Hannah, Hannah just wasn't good. I know there's a lot of people that liked it, but it was just kind of eh. I mean, I'm kind of disappointed that this got a season 2, yet Jean-Claude Van Johnson, which was so much better and just funnier all the way around, got canceled. But such is life in the television world, I guess, that they can't hold on to things like that. So speaking of other shows that I'm not really into, but have made it back again, May 8th, Lucifer season 4 hits Netflix, and they had released a trailer of the lead guy who's playing Lucifer coming out of the pool and all this kind of stuff, and trying to do their sexy promo and whatnot. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that are into it, and really like the show. I really, really, really tried, and I just can't get into police procedurals, even though it involves the devil. Yes, I know. I tried getting into it in season 1, and I kept falling asleep. So, yeah, I couldn't do it. But for those of you who are into it, it has found new life over at Netflix, and it will be up on May 8th. And again, you're not wrong for liking it just because I don't like it. Not a big deal, quite honestly. Again, like I said, I watch crap that somebody else, will find really horrible, and I love. So, for example, a friend of mine last night was giving me shit for watching watching Warrior on Cinemax today or last night. So Warrior is based off of Bruce Lee's notes that he was doing for what got stolen and became Kung Fu. And so this is a bit of a different thing. And my friend was going, and I was going, it's a martial arts show. And my friend's like, but it's on Skinamax. And I'm like, well, okay, it has boobs. So yeah, I mean, come on. After the second episode, after the opening credit scene, there was a sex scene. So yes, there you go. Netflix or bad shows rise from the dead. Slurmy Scott says, yeah, I don't know. I see. I It is very skinny, Dennis. What's that? I'm very curmudgeonly today. Uh, yeah, I could be a little bit more curmudgeonly, but you know, there's a lot of stuff going on. This week was, next week's going to be even more horrible. But yeah, there is a lot of skin and wire. There really is. It's kind of weird. It's as I was telling my friend last night too. I'm like, well, yeah, it's got martial arts, it's got nudity, and it also has a lot of gore. So it's got a little something for everybody. So depending on how you want it, and it's also set in 1878 San Francisco, which looks surprisingly like a backlot in Hollywood or Vancouver. I can't decide which one it is. Yeah. So let's see. Let me hit one of the big topics today or this week. So you probably saw on the front page there that Batman has been cast. Well, yes, he has. Ian Glenn from Game of Thrones and other places as well. He was also in the very first Tomb Raider movie and all that kind of stuff. He's going to play Bruce Wayne in DC Universe's second season of Titans that's coming out this fall. How do I feel about that? About doing an older Bruce Wayne and also having Ian Glenn play him? I don't know. I'm really not sold on Titans as it is. That first season was just crap, except for the Doom Patrol episode. The Doom Patrol episode was awesome. But if they're going to go the Batman Beyond route, if that's the way they're going to go, which I highly doubt that they're going to do that, I'd be all for it. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to him as Batman either, Marks. It's just something that's weird. Grandpa Wayne is what Stanley Tweedle said. Yeah, he really is. Well, he's going to be a more injured Batman. I'm pretty sure he's going to be using a cane. And it's kind of weird. They kind of aged him up a little too much, I think is what happened, especially since you still have Jason Todd being a teenager. And, you have Dick being just in his, I guess, mid-20s, I guess you could say. Yeah, he's in his mid-20s. So I still think it's just too old for him. Are you sure he's not playing Alfred? No, he's not. He's playing Bruce Wayne. We haven't gotten any confirmation yet if he's going to be in the bat suit or not, but he is going to be, Bruce Wayne, which I thought was kind of weird because the Bruce Wayne that they kept showing, the guy who was playing him in the silhouettes and all that stuff for season 1, would have been a great Batman and a great Bruce Wayne, and he was actually the right age. He was in his mid-30s. It would have been awesome, but no, they decided to go with, Grandpa Munster. Viking Bitch says, Doom Patrol is my favorite show currently airing. I place it above Happy. Yeah, right now with the way Happy season 2 is coming about, I'm not really digging season 2 at the moment. This week's episode of Happy was really good. It kind of captured a little bit of humor to it again, but for the most part, it's been kind of more mean-spirited than anything else. There's a fine line that Happy plays with, both in the comic and the first season, and it's done very well there. And in the second season, they've lost that balance, I guess you could say. You'll be in bat pajamas for sure. I'll probably have a bat nursing home too, and bat nurses, bat catheter, bat colostomy bag. Stanley Twiddle says, I'm dreading Happy a little at the moment. It sometimes spoils my appetite. Yeah, that's what Happy is there for. Bad Alzheimer's. What was that again? Sorry. Shouldn't make fun of that one. But yeah, I'm not too jazzed about seeing him as Bruce Wayne, to tell you the truth. So we'll see where that goes. But you know, Doom Patrol, like Viking Bitch says, is probably one of the best things on TV at the moment. So yeah, that Jane episode, oh my god, they blew that thing out of the water. Excuse me. There we go. That way I'm not sounding all bleh for you guys. And that is a technical term. So Chris Hemsworth says his role in the movie Rush. Remember that? You probably don't remember because it was directed by Ron Howard. It was a movie called Rush that he had done back in like 2011, I think it was, or maybe even earlier. He says that should be his audition tape for James Bond. So he looks like he's throwing his hat in the ring to be James Bond. How do I feel about that? I'm actually all for it, to tell you the truth. Chris Hemsworth as James Bond, sure, he could play the role. There's a lot of people that can play the role of James Bond, and quite frankly, yeah, he'd be just as good as anybody else at this point. Of all the people that have been named, I mean, there's a lot of people that have been named, James, for the James Bond role, and I think he would actually do a good job. Charlie Hunnam is your pick for James Bond, Slurmy? I don't know, to tell you the truth, Slurmy. I don't know if he could pull it off. His movies as of late, as with him as a leading man, haven't done any. I mean, granted, I've liked the movies that he's been in. Pacific Rim, I liked. It wasn't stellar or over the top spectacular. I even liked the King Arthur movie that he was in. I was probably the only one that actually did like it, but it was, for me, it was one of those things where it was kind of an overblown. It was kind of done in the 300 style, that it was a over exaggerated story, that everything was bigger than life, and that's what they did with that. And I kind of enjoyed it for what it was. Henry Cavill, yeah, Henry Cavill as 007 would be awesome. So would Arnie Hammer as well. Arnie Hammer, though, I don't think has the screen presence, to tell you the truth, to hold it off. Man from Uncle probably is a good example of that. Great movie and everything. I really enjoyed it, but a lot of people didn't. So, but yeah, I can see Henry Cavill as 007 is James Bond. I know a lot of people have been throwing out, Idris Elba's name, but they throw it out for everything that he, that they keep saying, oh, Queen Elizabeth, Idris Elba. Catherine the Great, Idris Elba. And Scarlett Johansson. So, yeah, I liked Man from Uncle as well. I thought it was a good movie, but yeah, there we go. So we got a lot of people in here now. Is that what's going on? We got enough participants, as they say here. Oh, we got a few people. So, all right, I'll hit with some of the bigger stories. Oh, as I knock over. I've been having, that's the other thing, is I've been very, very challenged lately with beverages, from what it seems like, and have been knocking the crap out of things left and right. Like I just knocked over my chai that I had. Chai. All right. So everyone saw that Star Wars Episode 9 trailer, right? It came out yesterday, was it? Yeah, it was yesterday. And I love IO9's take on it. They were saying the jaw-dropping trailer. And I'm like, it was a teaser trailer, and it was okay. It was, I didn't see anything that I hadn't seen from any other movies. And the subtitle, The Rise of Skywalker, like Mark says, it sounds like an erectile dysfunction pill that you would get. The Rise of Skywalker. You having problems? Then take The Rise of Skywalker to help get you through that evening with your special someone. The Rise of Skywalker. And then, of course, the laugh at the end. Ha, ha, ha. At first, I thought it was Mark Hamill doing the Joker laugh. And then I was like, oh, wait, that's supposed to be the Emperor. Oh, okay. So they're bringing the Emperor back because... Oh, yeah. Oh, it's supposed to be a Star Wars movie. We're supposed to be interested in that. Okay, got it. There are not going to be any Star Wars movies. Well, so Disney doesn't know what they want to do. After what happened with The Last Jedi, where The Last Jedi divided people 50-50 down the middle, you either liked it or you hated it. I take that back. You either loved it with a fervor or you hated it with the passion of 1,000 suns. It was one or the other. I fall in the latter camp. It just was pretty bad. But I know there are people in the former camp there that just absolutely love it because it shook things, quote unquote, shook things up, which it really didn't, quite honestly. It's the same old bullshit. It really is. And it's still dealing with the Skywalker saga, and not in a good way. So Mork says, bringing back Palpatine, make up your minds. Weren't you supposed to forget the past? Kill it if we... Yeah, exactly. I'm not, Rian. So supposedly they are going to retcon a good majority of The Last Jedi. In this, that's what the majority of this movie is going to be, is fixing the mistakes of Last Jedi. Because Last Jedi, Rian went his own way. And they let him do it. And it pissed off a lot of people. And again, their toy sales are down considerably, hugely, as a matter of fact. Mistakes that was on, yeah. Well, Rianne thought they were great choices to make, but they were mistakes, is really what they were. Star Wars fans in general, you do not stray too far from the path. If you take a radical departure, sure, you're going to bring in some new fans on that, but these are new fans. I say with quotation marks around the fans part, because these are never Star Wars fans to begin with. The people that like this stuff, the new stuff, the way the new direction is going. These are people that they want to see something new in this universe, but they also want to see the old stuff destroyed. It's kind of this weird thing I've been seeing where a lot of people like seeing the old stuff, the old movies, the old, I guess you could say, trilogies and storylines and stuff like that destroyed in favor of bringing out, quote unquote, something new, which is actually really just the old shit that's been recycled. So it really is. And if you just want to remake the movie, remake the movies. Don't try and say, oh, we're doing something new. We're going to tear down, we're going to shit all over the old stuff, but then we're going to redo the new stuff exactly in the same image as the old stuff, but we're going to shit on the old stuff as well while doing it. So, yeah, that's all I can say. Andrej Merrick says the combination of JJ being out of time, you'll need like 3 movies to fix the 8th, exactly, as well as the inability to finish anything is a sure win. Yeah, it's horrible. There was a no-win situation on this, no matter who it was. That's why no one was going to touch it. They shopped it around to a hell of a lot of directors and writers, and they were like, well, what do I have to work with? And they're like, you have to get within this framework. And they're like, nope, not going to do it. See ya. Bye. So what will the new Ewoks look like? Any guesses? Are there new Ewoks? Oh, that's right, because the Death Star that crashed onto Endor and all that stuff that we see in that trailer. Hopefully the Ewoks have now all gone Mad Max, and so they're driving around in these speeders that have been all chopped up and stuff like that, and how they're wearing metal parts and whatnot, and they're eating each other. Well, they were already eating stormtroopers as it was. So yeah, there's a good mashup right there: Star Wars and Mad Max. They should have gotten Uwe Boll to finish the trilogy. Yeah, they really should have. But Ewoks will look like gremlins. Nice. Oh yeah, they get all scaly now. Their forests are all gone, and so the sun has come out. Yeah. So now they're all scaly looking. They wear rags around their heads, wrapped around their heads, all that kind of, all their bodies and whatnot. They have to be cuter than the old ones. Think of the merchandise. That's right. Remember the merchandising, as yogurt would say. It's all about the merchandising. That was a horrible, horrible yogurt voice, by the way. So there's my impersonation for you, the one that you get. Slurmy says, Ewoks are now like piranha fish. They swarm you and devour you alive. Kind of like, oh, wow. May the Schwartz be with you. Exactly. Have the little, they'll have the little Ewoks that say, nub nub when you pull the little string. Nab nab. Wow. That got dark real quick all of a sudden. So speaking of Disney, like I said, this was all Star Wars fan celebration weekend, which was kind of funny. Mark Hamill did not attend. I follow Mark Hamill on Twitter because he's just pretty damn funny at times. And he says he's not going to be there. He was off doing something else. He didn't say what he was doing, but he just wasn't going to be there. And someone said, you're right in not coming. It's a complete and total shit show, pretty much, is what it was. What was imparted to him. And Mark pretty much said, yeah, I know, that's why I didn't show up. It was a pretty hilarious tweet. That's all I can say. It was just like a one-line thing, and he pretty much just shut it down. The reason why he didn't go is because he knew it was going to be a mess. So yeah. So after episode 9 is over and done with, Bob Iger says that the Star Wars movie will, quote, take a pause sometime and reset because the Skywalker saga comes to an end with this 9th movie. There will be other Star Wars movies, but there will be a bit of a hiatus. He also confirmed that he's going to be stepping down as CEO of Disney when his contract expires in 2021. So my guess is that you're not going to see another Star Wars movie announced until 2021 or 2022 when Bob Iger steps down as CEO of Disney. Is someone persona non grata with Disney? There's a lot of people that are persona non grata with Disney. Stanley, you need to be a little more specific on that one. Yeah, word on the street. Well, actually, the rumor has always been that Kevin Feige is going to be the next one to step in because of everything he's done with Marvel. So all his Marvel movies have made shit tons of money for Disney. Everything that he has done, he has answered the questions in the right way. He has not flown off the handle. I kind of with Amy Pascal, that whole Spider-Man thing where he's sitting next to her and she's announcing stuff that is taking him by surprise. The fact that he didn't get out of the chair and strangle her is a great testimony right there to CEO status. That is the hallmark of a good CEO, is where you don't get up and strangle the competition for fucking up your timelines of movies. So yeah, I think that was it. Stanley Twill says I met Mark Hamill that KK's Kathleen Kennedy's contract will be finished. Yeah, I'm fairly sure. What's going to happen with Kathleen Kennedy? Like I've said before, is that she is going to move up someplace in the company where she is no longer going to be. She's going to get her money, but she's neither going to be seen nor heard from. Is where you're going to get at that point. So she's going to get a promotion. to inactivity, if you will, but still have that money coming in. Yeah. Mark says, I saw a certain female movie reviewer with a particular voice, and I loved her reaction to when the trailer said the end of the saga, and her reaction was, yeah, right. So, exactly. If this, we were supposed to be done with this saga, you know, when the episodes 1 through 3 were done. You know, we were supposed to be done with this, and we weren't. We came back to it. And J.J. Abrams, of course, let loose that he had brought in Lucas to consult on this as well, this last movie, because you're getting basically what you're doing is you're ending 3 trilogies, is what you're doing with this movie. And you have to take into effect 8 movies of what has happened with this last movie. And there was no way in hell that J.J. Abrams, with his ADHD, was going to be able to hold that all together. And so he brought in Lucas to say, hey, where do I go with this? And I guess Lucas kind of walked him through some stuff of what he had planned and where he was going with things. And that's where they're going with this. So, yeah. But who knows? Kathleen Kennedy will move to a place where she can fade away slowly and without much coverage. Exactly, Marks. And hopefully she takes Lawrence Kasdan with her. And Kasdan's son, I can't remember what his name is. Even though Kasdan's son was the one who came up with the Darth Maul thing in Solo, and quite honestly, that should have been the main point of the movie, was Darth Maul as the main bad guy. And even though you have him in the shadows, you allude to him and everything else, and you make that the mission is that Han Solo needs to go in and steal something from him, not knowing that he's also the boss of the guy that he's working for. That would have been the best thing, but no, of course not. You make it a heist movie, and it wasn't a heist movie. It was just an inept. I don't even know what you would call Solo, to tell you the truth. It was just a really bad movie, but yeah, there we go. Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy, the new CEO of Disney. She's poisoned those wells. There's no way she's going to get into that seat. No hell way. No fucking way. Nyla says, fuck Rian Johnson, fuck Disney. Yeah. A lot of people are like that. Luke was just wasted on an episode. Yeah, he was. It was kind of well. That was the whole point of it. Works is that Rian wanted to neuter Luke to a point where, he made him where you didn't care that he died, if you will, at the end. But yeah, I don't think he died. I don't know. He's coming back. We know he's coming back. Mark Hamill's being kind of cagey about, he's having fun with it. He's going back and forth on things. But there you go. So, what else we got going on here? So, speaking of Disney, this is all Disney all the time now at this point. November 12th, D Plus is going to be rolling out with for $6.99 per month or $69.99 per year. And they're going to make it so you can bundle it with Hulu and ESPN Plus if you're into that stuff. I just canceled my Hulu subscription, by the way, because there's nothing on that I want to see on that thing. Everything I can see either on demand or whatnot, and really don't need that. So it was money that I was just wasting. Also, the first episode of The Mandalorian is going to be available that same day on November 12th when it goes live. Not the whole series, just the first episode. Am I going to get it? I will take a look at it. I'll probably sign up for the first month or a free trial and take a look at The Mandalorian. Because, of course, I'm very interested in The Mandalorian. There are a few other things that they keep announcing, which I'll get to here in a moment as well, that are interesting. There's one thing I really want to see, but for the most part, the Marvel stuff, I'm not really, the Marvel series that they have going on, I'm not too excited about it. Viking Bitch says, Venobi says hello to all of you. Do you have him locked up in the dungeon, Viking Bitch? Has he been bad? You know, you can always get the genital cuffs if you need to. Dante, how's it going? Good morning, all. Stanley Twiddle says, "Has anyone seen the new Killing Eve episode?" I have not. I haven't watched the first season. I just haven't gotten around to it. Quite honestly, there's so much stuff out there. So much stuff, and we have Game of Thrones starting tomorrow. Yeah. Why am I always accused of locking up in the basement? He is with family today. Okay. Um, because we just having fun with you, Viking bitch. Hey, Ricardo Aspie. Spoon. Yeah. Your family is locking him. No, his family's locking him up more. Says what's going on. It's the way he rolls. Stanley Twiddle says the scene with the kid in the hospital was effed up. Okay, the scene. Oh, Killing Eve. Okay, that's what you guys are talking about. Okay. Yeah. So what else we got going on here? So with D Plus coming out, we have the announcement that there's going to be a Hawkeye series with Jeremy Renner. Really, it's not a Hawkeye series. It is Hawkeye handing over the reins to Kate Bishop. So Kate Bishop is a character in the comics, and this is going to be one of the Marvel series that comes out on D Plus when it comes out, as well as other things they have working on. So they are also doing and this has already been announced before, the Falcon and Winter Soldier series that they have going on. I believe it's supposed to be called The Odd Couple. And one of them is supposed to be really neat, and one of them is supposed to be a slob, and how they live together. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, the Falcon and Winter Soldier is one of the announcements that they're doing. WandaVision is the name of another series that's been announced, and of course, as that is Wanda and the Vision. So this is all, I believe, post Infinity War or post Endgame. Post Endgame. Thank you. There we go. My brain is slowly but surely catching up. And of course, there is a Loki series that is announced. Supposedly, what the rumor is how they're going to retcon Loki with Endgame, and Loki's going to become a good guy. So that's all I can say. I'm not going to say how he gets retconned, but it's already there in the movies. Honestly, if you go in and you take a look at it, everything is there to set it all up. It does make sense, but I'm like, okay. I still like Loki as a bad guy. Hey, crispy tenders. Slurmy says, I've been strolling down memory lane, watched The Fifth Element and Dune this week, and finished Farscape. Mufinobi, have a lovely day, all, an impromptu family lunch. Be spontaneous, miss you guys. They're allowing you enough chain there, Mufinobi, so that you can get to the phone. And I kid. We all know he's got the ball gag in. Slurmy Scott says, once again, Finobi has his priorities confused. Choosing family over chat, unacceptable. Exactly. Villanelle is very cold. Okay. They're going to soloing Loki. Yeah, it's. I if they're going to do it, sure, fine, go for it. I'm not really caring about that too much. Stanley Tweedle says, Farscape is on Amazon Prime here now. I'm tempted. I tried. I went through all of season 1 and still was never hooked on that. I know there's people that really love the series. I just was not one of them. Sorry. Orc says, I know you don't watch Into the Badlands, but for those who do, this is the last season. Yeah. I actually called that one too. I said this was going to be the last season, and they announced it. So I'm actually getting, I hate to say this, I'm actually getting good at calling when these things are going to end. So not the best thing in the world, but okay. Let's see what else we got here. So I talked about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Loki. This is the one that most interests me in what D Plus has to offer. So Marvel Studios revealed that they're doing an animated What If storyline. So for those of you who aren't familiar with this, Marvel Comics from the 70s on and off here has had a comic book series called What If. So What If would take these big popular storylines from Marvel Comics and say, what if this happened? What if that happened? And so it'd always be a twist on it. It was an Elseworlds, if you will, before there was even an Elseworlds for DC. So the first animated What If story is going to be, what if Peggy Carter got the super soldier serum and Steve Rogers got a suit of armor from Howard Stark? And that was the first announcement that they made about what the first episode was going to be. And I was like, that's looking kick ass. I actually want to see it. They showed a little bit of artwork from it as well, and the artwork looks really good. So I'm very, very much looking forward to this one, especially since it's animated as well. Animation has always got a near and dear, special little place in its heart for me. So, hey, Pen Farm Girl. Came in late, catching up some notes. Free for Nobi. Also love Killing Eve, and I think Rush should be a James Bond audition tape for Daniel Bruh. And finally, Daniel Brühl. And finally, Spoon. Spoon. Yes. For those of you who don't know what Spoon is, that is the Tick's battle cry. So that does make sense, doesn't need to. Stanley Tweedle says Daniel Brühl as Bond, tough sell for a German Bond. Accents are a tricky thing. So there we go. I probably know who Daniel Brühl is if I saw his face, but right now it's eluding me, so I don't know. The face does not ring a bell at the moment. So a couple of bittersweet things here. Future Man has been renewed for a third and final season at Hulu. I kind of had a feeling that was what was going on because they delayed announcement of when the third season was going to happen for a while there. And so we kind of figured that's what was going to happen. That, he was the Civil War. No, he does not make a good Bond. Yeah. Okay. Joker, I know who you're talking about now. No, he would not make a good Bond. But yeah, so I'm disappointed that Future Man. So I'm happy that they're getting a season 3. That Future Man's getting a season 3, but I'm disappointed that this is going to be their final season. Same thing with Preacher. Preacher gets a season 4, but it's going to be its final season. Now, why is this happening like this? Because Rogan and his writing partner Goldberg, are leaving Sony TV and they're moving over to Lionsgate TV. Not the best thing in the world, but there we have it. So their production company is leaving Sony TV altogether, which is where both of those productions are, and they're going over to Lionsgate TV, which is where The Boys is located at. So, where does that leave? So the two guys that Hunter and Schaefer, who created Future Man, are actually going to be staying at Sony TV with a new 2-year deal. So hopefully we get to see more stuff from them in that kind of vein of Future Man. And we also could see Derek Wilson come back, and Eliza Cuthbert and Josh Hutcherson, because they actually do make a great team comedy-wise. They are really pretty damn funny. That's all I can say. And if you haven't seen Future Man, just go and sign up for the free Hulu, or is it 30-day trial, something like that, and burn through both seasons, and you'll be good. Pen Farm Girl says, I saw Daniel and Rush first, and then he started showing up in a bunch of stuff, even Fifth Estate with Cumberbatch as Assange. Julian Assange. Okay. Yeah, it just, I don't know. Viking Bitches, yeah, it was bittersweet. We were getting a third season of Future Man, but that's all we get. Yeah. And I guess it's good also that we get 3 seasons out of this before they burn out of ideas. So, I guess I can live with that. Having 3 seasons of a really good show versus a show that goes on for 18 seasons and, really should have ended at 5, Supernatural. Um, yeah. Granted, there's some gems of Supernatural that are in there scattered throughout the seasons, but really it should have ended at 5. That was where the natural stopping point was. That's where the original story was supposed to end, but now it's just gotten kind of ridiculous. Yeah, and I'm glad Supernatural's finally ending. What is it, season 15 or something like that? They're going to end. Same thing with Arrow. Arrow's ending after season 8. I guess Emily Rickards, just who plays Felicity Smoke, just filmed her last scene because they ended season 7 filming. So she just filmed her final episode. And Stephen Amell's daughter decided she wanted to sing Emily a goodbye song, and so there's video of it up on his Instagram, or not Instagram, his Twitter, if you ever want to see it. Joe Greer the third says, "Good point, Dennis. Bring back Keith David in future." Yeah, Keith David was so good as Cronish, especially. I love when he talks about the Cornish balls. It's so wrong, but he's a great comedian as well. So this is a guy who started off in action movies and sci-fi movies and things like that. He does some great genre work, but as a comedian, I think I first saw him doing comedy and There's Something About Mary. And how'd you get the Franks above the beans? Or how'd you get the beans above the Frank? I don't understand, what I'm looking at here. It's some funny ass shit, man. And he does some great line delivery, man. I mean, he does some really good. He's got great comedic timing. And if you go back and look at season 1, he also has some great comedic timing in that as well. Especially when they're talking about the whole possum ejaculation thing. Man, it's beautiful stuff. Slurmy Scott, that's the biggest difference between US TV and British. They end stories, we drag them out till they die a slow death. Yeah, I've been a proponent of that for a long time, where you actually, it's the same thing with like the telenovelas too, is that you have a set time frame of when these series are going to happen. You have 18 episodes or 25 episodes, something like that, or that is what your storyline is going to be. You can still continue the storyline into another series of 18 to 25 episodes, something like that, using the same actors in the same world, but it's a different storyline altogether. That's if people really, really like it. But you have that out if you just, do that one storyline as a contained universe. And I agree with you, Stormy. That's what we should be doing. But you're right. They play things out until it dies, and then gets reborn, and then dies again, and comes back as Kitsch, and then dies and reborn, and gets remade and whatnot. So Joker the Third says, "Great range as an actor. He was creepy and bad in Requiem of a Dream." Keith, you know what? I blocked most of that movie out. Joker, that movie just disturbs the shit out of me. I can't watch any of it. It's not for me. And yeah, I don't remember him being in it. Tell you the truth. So Stanley Tweedle says, "I prefer Counterpart going on a high note too." Yeah, but they left it on a fucking cliffhanger, Stanley. They left it on a cliffhanger, and that's what gets me. Is it wasn't going out on so much of a high note, but going out on a cliffhanger, and you can't do that. That's just not right. Which cliffhanger? Did you watch the last episode? I mean, you saw what happened. Yeah, exactly. The world is fucked. Uh, but we don't know how far it went. If anything comes about from this, and then there's also the question, you know, which Howard do we see go back? Was it Howard Alpha or was it Howard, Prime? Dante S says, I was satisfied with Counterpart's ending, mission complete with a slight leak. I like Keith David when he plays military roles. He has presence. Yeah, he does. I see that's not an ending though, Stanley. That's where that's a cliffhanger. Yeah. But see, we agree to disagree on that one. So yeah, so August 4th is going to be the final season of Preacher. Like I was saying before, that one we kind of saw coming. That quite frankly, season 2 is what screwed everything up. That staying on the in the house in New Orleans was like staying on the farm in season 2 of Walking Dead. It almost killed. Well, it actually did kill the series. And season 3 tried picking things back up again. It stumbled a bit here and there, but it was good. It was better. Season 4 needs to pick the shit up. I know they're going for the apocalypse now at this point. That is where they are heading. We all know this. And I'm glad they're going to end it. They're going to have a definitive ending on this one, which is going to be good. Yeah, Stanley Twill, the farm killed it for everybody in Walking Dead. That's why there is that. That's the saying now. It's stuck on the farm. That's a TV show lingo because of Walking Dead. It's like jumping the shark. Jumping the shark was from Happy Days with Fonzie, literally jumping a shark. And Stuck on the Farm is from Walking Dead, which is from season 2 of being stuck on the damn farm. Agent Future says, I'm crushed that Preacher is ending. Yeah. Well, the other thing is, too, is that both Dominic Cooper and Ruth Negga were married in real life and then got a pretty messy divorce, from what I understand, during season 2 when that was happening. And that also caused a lot of friction within what was going on the show. And I'm sure that had led to its demise as well. Preacher died on the farm for me too. Yeah, well, yeah, the whole Angelville stuff, they stayed a little too long in Angelville. They really did. That's why I'm saying season 3 had its stumbling blocks, but for the most part was okay. It was better than season 2 by a long shot. At least they introduced some more interesting characters. And come on, Hitler escaping from hell. Oh, Joe Greer, you didn't know that's what that term came from? Being stuck on the farm came from? Was Walking Dead? Yeah. It's a TV lingo thing. It's when people say, you don't want to be stuck on the farm. I actually tweeted that out to the Preacher folks when they said, season 4 is going to be the last one. I said, well, hopefully we don't get stuck in a house in New Orleans. Because, I really did not like that. Yeah, that was the other thing. Stanley tweeted, it took me a while to figure that out, that it was Hitler that was in Hannah. The guy who played Hitler in Preacher plays a doctor in Hannah. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, I know this guy. Where the hell do I know this guy from? And I'm looking him up on IMDb and all this stuff, and I'm looking for him. And then it dawns on me. I see that, I finally get the little mustache. And I'm like, it's Hitler. Or how he likes to be called in our world, now is Hilter. David Hilter. Yeah. Oh, you didn't know about the divorce, Joe Greer. Okay. Yeah. It was a fairly messy divorce. It was kept pretty hush-hush, but a lot of people knew about it. Yeah. Stormy Scott says, I tried to watch Preacher season 2, but just couldn't do it. Love season 1. They just should have ended. Slurmy, skip season 2, go to the very end, watch the last episode of season 2, and then go into season 3. You'll be glad that you did. Season 3 was okay. It actually introduces some good characters. You have Hitler and Eugene escaping from hell. You get Satan, a lot more of Satan. What else can I say? The Angel of Death. There's a lot of good stuff in season 3 to work with. Ricardo Aspie says the Hitler from The Man in the High Castle was almost a good guy. Yeah. Agent Future says Dominic Cooper's new girlfriend is Gemma Chan. Wow. Really? Well, he is tiny, by the way, Dominic Cooper. Dude is really, really tiny. I didn't realize how tiny he was. I saw him briefly at a distance. Actually, I thought it was at a distance. It's just that he was so small that I thought he was further away than he actually was. And this was at Comic-Con, if I remember correctly. So up on the stage in Hall H, he kind of almost disappears. That's why they need to put a fisheye lens camera on him, make him bigger. Mark says, I gave up on Walking Dead in season 2. The whole Lost Girl arc. Yeah. That was when they were having difficulties, Marks, with the director and the showrunner. And there was a lot of lawsuits that were happening at the time and all this kind of stuff. And so it wound up into the production that they were spending a lot more time on that farm because they didn't want to deal with all the other stuff that was happening around. Viking Bitch says he was so small that he didn't get any bigger as you moved closer. No, it seemed like he kept moving further away. It was kind of weird. Burn Dominic Cooper. That's what happens when you steal Gemma Chan. I didn't mean to burn him. I just he really is a tiny person. He really is. It's kind of like Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is really tiny. Sylvester Stallone comes up to my shoulder, and I'm not a tall person. I walked past Sylvester Stallone in Vegas when he was shooting Get Carter, and they were on break at the moment, and so I was walking down one of the aisleways. They were finally letting us pass, and him and God, I can't remember his name. The guy that was his co-star in that. He was in Stand Against Evil as well. He's the main character in Stand Against Evil. But yeah, Stallone literally came up to my shoulder. It was just very, very weird seeing actors like that. Joker the Third says the character from Preacher stuck in purgatory. No, he actually got sent to hell. Arseface, as they're calling him. Yes, got sent to hell. Stanley Tweedle says, "What's up with the imp hate here?" Dude, you must be 6 feet tall, is what Wango said. No, I'm not 6 feet tall, Wango. He really is tiny. He is very small. It's a weird thing with actors. I swear. It's Stallone for when they were doing Judge Dredd. I can't get those words out of my mouth. Was Stallone in the same sentence because it was a bad movie. When he is with the cadets, giving them their lesson, I guess, on the lawgiver and all that on the bike and everything, he had to stand on a crate in order to be taller than the actors that were playing the cadets around him. So, yeah. Dante S says, have you ever seen a rapper? They are tiny little guys. Laugh out loud. Yeah, it's just kind of weird. I don't know what it is. I guess most celebrities are kind of tiny. The only one that isn't, Tom Hiddleston, is roughly my height, maybe a little bit taller than me. And he had passed by. I was cutting through. I've said this story before. I was cutting through a crowd at Comic-Con. Didn't know what the hell the crowd was there for. I was just trying to get past on the sidewalk, and I passed between him and Taylor Swift. So he was going into the limo that was off to my right, and she was off on my left in between. I walked right in between them. So didn't know who she was. Didn't see him, but I got the, I saw how tall he was because he was just passed by me there. Yeah. Burn little people. Now, it's Pan Farm Girl says, speaking of Gemma, is Humans getting another season? It's supposed to be season 3, right? I haven't heard anything. Ricardo Aspie, you can see Dennis's height in an old YouTube video when he was a co-host. Yeah. Pen Farm Girl says, kind of off topic, but now that I'm almost caught up on the Tick, does anyone else feel Overkill and Wolf from Future Man are brothers separated? I might have to bring that up to Dominic Wilson on Twitter and see if he and Overkill can work something out in season 3 of the final season of Future Man. That would be awesome. Pen Farm Girl says occasionally some of the lines from Overkill delivers really make me think of Wolf. Yeah, they do. It's the whole kill the guys who really love to kill stereotype, if you will. And I believe that Overkill was supposed to be the in the comics, Ben Edlund had created a character named Chainsaw Vigilante who wore one of those happy faces, one of the smiley faces, as a mask, but had a gigantic chainsaw and would just kill criminals with the chainsaw. And that was supposed to be his Punisher version, and he always loves making fun of the Punisher. So this was again his version of the Punisher. Yeah. Wolf and his tiny. Man, the thing that they keep using they keep bringing that prosthetic back out. And yeah. Pen Farm Girl says I was a big Batmanuel fan, but Overkill and Danger Boat helped me not miss him. Yeah, Batmanuel. Batmanuel is pretty damn funny, I have to admit. Well, Die Fledermaus as well. That was in the Tick, the animated series, was good. Yeah. Some good stuff. What else I got going on here? Oh, yeah. So this Halloween, the Addams Family returns to theaters in an animated movie. It's got a pretty good voice cast of people. I saw the trailer for it. It looked pretty good. I'm most likely going to go and see it just because I like that kind of humor. That it looks good. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. If you haven't seen the trailer for it, go and take a look at it. I have it up on the Facebook page. And good stuff. Charlize Theron, I believe, is playing Morticia. I can't remember who's playing Gomez. Chloe Moretz is playing Wednesday Addams. And I can't remember who's playing Pugsley at this point. And Twango, Doom Patrol is on DC Universe. It is based on the comic books that have been around since the 60s. And it's some really good stuff. It's a bunch of, I guess you can say, damaged superheroes, but they're not really heroes at the moment. And it's just some good stuff. Go and watch the first season. If you sign up for a free trial on DC Universe, I think you get a 7-day free trial. You can watch the first 9 episodes that are up there if you can get through them in 7 days and see what you think about it. Pen Farm Girl says, I never watched Animated Tick. It's on the list, long list. Yeah, the Animated Tick is really hard to find because it was owned by Fox, and Fox never put out a proper series on that. And I'm hoping now that Disney owns it, that's one of the things they release, because I fucking need that on DVD. I really do. That is one of my favorite cartoons. I mean, literally my favorite cartoons. That is not Pen Farm Girl, Viking Bitch. You probably want to know this. The guys who created the Venture Brothers, Doc and Jackson, that's where they got their start, was on the Animated Tick. They worked with Ben on that. That's where they met Ben. And so they were script writers for that and also worked on the animation as well. One of my favorite things of that animated series was at one point you get knocked into the Tick's mind. He gets knocked into low Earth orbit by something called the Proto-Clown. And he goes into his mind, and at one point he sees this giant happy face that opens up its mouth, and the giant tongue comes out as steps. And it's the entranceway to the pleasure center of his brain. So he's running up the stairs to it because, that's who he is. The tongue disappears. He falls down, and as he's falling, the ground opens up. He falls into a shallow pit of water. A giant snake wraps around him, and they start wrestling. and they stop, and the snake looks at him and says, "You don't date much, do you?" And I almost pissed my pants laughing because that is a Freudian thing of having of sexual frustration is when you fall into a pit of water with a giant snake. Yeah, and that was on a Saturday morning cartoon show for kids. And having that fly above kids' heads and hit adults right between the eyes. Yeah, I just I lost it. I mean, that just is one of my favorite just little scenes from an animated series. And on Saturday mornings. I mean, it was like 9 a.m. on a Saturday is what that show would appear on Fox. uh, yeah, Aunt Wango, Doom Patrol is probably the best show on TV right now. Even though it's a superhero show, it's got a lot of different facets to it. Like I was saying last night, it's like layers of onions on that one. That's got lots and lots of layers. Uh, Penn Farm Girl says, "Well, we can't always agree, Stanley, but you can agree to disagree, and we all have a different taste." Exactly. Stanley Tweedle says, "Dennis has some dubious taste sometimes." I'm the first to admit that, Stanley. I totally agree with you. I do have dubious tastes on things, and my tastes shift on what I like. So there we go. Yes, Cobra Kai season 2, Antwango. I am. So what I'm probably going to do for Cobra Kai season 2 is I'm going to wait till it all comes out at once. I'm going to watch all of it, and then I'm just going to review it as one in one sitting for the entire season 2. I'm not going to go episode by episode on that one just because I don't think I could do it justice, to tell you the truth. And I honestly don't know if it would hold up to an episode by episode review, to tell you the truth. Stanley Tweedle says, "But I like to give Dennis some shit on his taste just for fun." I'm not, dude, you're not the first one. Trust me. And you won't be the last one. I get shit all the time about what I like and what I don't like. I have people that have known me for years and years and years will bring up some old stuff. And they're like, "Yeah, but your tastes are questionable. You like such and such." I'm like, "Dude, come on. That was 20 years ago. You're still, but you liked it." All right. Guilty as charged. Andrej Merrick says, "Yeah, binge shows which are more like the one long movie and are better reviewed in one go. One story equals one review." Exactly. And yeah, with Cobra Kai season 1, that was the way to actually review that one, was as one big story. It's one long movie, and that's where I'm going to go with season 2 as well. Stanley Tweedle says, "People who like Gotham should not throw stones." Stanley Tweedle, it's not that I like Gotham. It's like I said, it's like a tire fire. It's like a fire of tires on top of a steaming dumpster fire that's on top of a speeding locomotive that is on fire, that is on top of a yacht that's out of control, that has a nuclear device attached to it, that is speeding towards the Fukuyama reactor. That's pretty much how I view Gotham. It's one of those things I can't look away from. Slurmy Scott says, "We rarely get a dislike here, maybe because the dislikers seem to disappear mysteriously, usually after a visit." I love Gotham, is what Andres Merrick says. Penn Farm Girl says, "Gotham has some great stuff to fill in." Yeah, and that's the whole thing is, and I think that's the other reason why I actually like watching Gotham, is they're not afraid to take chances with stuff because they just really don't give a shit. And that's what I'm not liking about the CW stuff most of the time, is they try and play it too safe. Whereas Bruno Heller just really doesn't give a shit and has been going, "Oh, you want to add some mutants in from The Dark Knight Return or The Dark Knight? Sure, we're going to do that in Gotham season 5. Oh yeah, by the way, you want to add the Penguin in? Sure, we're going to add that in too. You want to add Bane? Well, here's my version of Bane, and that's pretty much what I'm kind of liking about it. And also, what I can't look away from is that Yes, they are making some horrible, horrible fucking decisions on some things, but at least they're trying to do something. It doesn't come out all the time, but yeah. Stanley Tweedle says, if I was a DC nerd, I would surely hate it. I am a DC nerd, but DC is all over the place, quite honestly. There are many different facets. I don't look at it as canon. This is an Elseworlds. It really is. Antoingo says, I came to Lost late as well, and that was so disappointing. I tried watching Lost, and I remember watching the first episode and going, these guys don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't have a story. I think I watched the first 3 episodes. That's what it was. And I realized they didn't know where it was going and that they didn't have a storyline involved or in mind as what was happening. And it showed. And I was like, yeah, I got to step out. Mork says, I liked Gotham. I liked where Gotham went with unusual villains like Solomon Grundy. Yeah. I mean, come on. Yeah, they brought in Solomon Grundy, for God's sakes. Professor Pig. The Professor Pig stuff was brutal, but at the same time, pretty good, I have to admit. Oh, yeah, Antoine Go. Lost was completely made up as they went along. They did not know where they were going with that at all. And they admitted it. And it's because it's J.J. Abrams, man. J.J. Abrams, yeah, really just kind of, he flies by the seat of his pants. You could see that from episode 7. He didn't have a script, a working script at all. He had an idea, kind of, general idea, but yeah. Stanley Tweedle says that show Lost was such a big middle finger. Yeah. Agent Future says CWDC TV shows are basically Elseworld stories. Yeah, those are as well. They're pretty much anything DC right now is going to be Elseworlds. There is no. If you can point out to me in the DC comics where anything is actually canon now at this point, because they have rebooted the universe so many damn times, I couldn't tell you. Yeah. And I used to own a comic book store at one point in time in my life. I literally could not tell you what is canon and what isn't anymore in DC because they have rebooted shit so many times. So you can pick and choose all you want for that's why the DCEU is so messed up as well, the movies, because they don't know where they want to pick from. No one knows what is actually canon, and people argue, well, that's not Superman. That's, well, yes, Batman is not supposed to kill. I'm sorry. That's in all the universe as one universal thing. There are some universal things that are true of the characters, universal traits of these characters, I should say, that don't change. But for the most part, how you portray them has been skewed in so many different ways that I couldn't tell you what is canon anymore. Slurmy Scott says Lost is a remake of Gilligan's Island, but without the humor. That's pretty funny. Antoingo says I was really lost the last 3 seasons, but I stupidly persevered. That's pretty funny too. Oh. And you know the funny thing is, Stanley Tweedle, is Doom Patrol is also produced by Greg Berlanti, who does all the CW shows. So there you go. It's just that the showrunner, Jeremy Carver, he also comes from the CW world as well. He was on Supernatural. There you are. Pen Farm Girl says, Dennis, I just double checked, and Netflix has the animated Tick, but only on disc. They're in my queue. Nice. Nice. Yeah, I don't have the disc portion of Netflix anymore. So they just really need to do a proper release of that whole season on DVD in 4K or Blu-ray. I'd be happy with Blu-ray. Yeah, Pen Farm Girl. So a lot of the stuff that happens in the Tick, the live action series recently on Amazon, does make references back to the cartoon. So like in episode 1 that we just had, where Arthur is waking up and the alarm's going off, that's actually taken from the opening credits of the Tick, the animated series. So it's actually a throwback to that. Yeah, very few people still do this. Yeah, I know. Like I said, last Saturday morning blast off. I love physical media because it can't be changed, can't be taken away from you. It's there. So Andres Merrick says producer is just a glorified project manager, Excel wizard, HR rolled into one, nothing to do with the creative process. Yeah, that's why Greg Berlanti can be attached to 25 different DC shows. Agent Future says it's funny that Warner Brothers is pushing the worlds of DC. The fans still call it DCEU. That's because it's easier to say DCEU than the worlds of DC. Because I mean, what do you say? TWDC? That doesn't roll off the tongue as easy as DCEU. And DCEU, everyone knows, it's kind of like the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, DC Extended Universe is what that comes out to. So there we go. Stanley Tweedle says, until recently, I didn't have a disk drive in my house anymore. Or call it the DCW. Call it the Winn-Dixie. I don't know. What else do I got going on here? Oh, yeah. So for some reason, Mighty Mouse is getting a movie. And it's going to be a blend of live action and animation. I don't understand why they're doing this. Does anyone know what Mighty Mouse is anymore at this point? I mean, Mighty Mouse was a cartoon, of course, in the 40s and the 50s. It was done as serials in between, in between movies when they actually used to run cartoons with movies. And pretty much, I think, well, yeah, the song, and of course, Andy Kaufman did a great version of that on Saturday Night Live, where that was kind of one of his stand-up bits that he would just go up on stage and he would play. He put a little record player out and he put the 45 of the Mighty Mouse song on, and he would just kind of bob along, dance to it, and then he would mouth the "Here I come to save the day." And then he'd sit there and just kind of, it was pretty damn funny. That's pretty much where the revival came from, is in the 70s from Andy Kaufman. Who remembers 45s? Exactly. I still have some 45s. Billy and the Boingers, 45. If anyone knows what Billy and the Boingers is. If you don't, look up Bloom County, which is still being done. Yeah, exactly, Viking Bitch. Mighty Mouse was old even for me as a kid. Exactly. Who's going to play the mouse? The tiny guy from Preacher. Oh, man. Sorry. That's wrong. Dominic Cooper is not playing although he could voice him. Who knows? Looks like he's going to be up for a job anyway. What they should do now that Dominic Cooper is going to be free from Preacher after season 4 is ending here, and the woman who played Peggy Carter, I can't remember her name, Haley, I can't remember her name all of a sudden, but now would be the time for D Plus to snap them back up and to do a proper Peggy Carter TV series on D Plus. Haley Atwell, thank you, Andres Mar. Because quite honestly, that was the best thing that ABC had going for them, and they canceled it in favor of that god-awful Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I know people like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I'm sorry, but it's a show that will not die. Yeah, Joker the Third says, I hope it's better than the Underdog and G-Force movies. Exactly. Yes, Stanley Tweedle, I did see the SNL Game of Thrones prequel trailers. I thought it was pretty damn funny. As they said, we're going to go total Star Wars on this bitch. And I posted that up on my Facebook page, on the Suspended Animation Facebook page. No ballers. I did like the Game of Thrones CSI, which made me laugh, which had Ice-T and His partner, I can't remember her name. I don't watch the show. I just know they're both on it because I've seen tons of commercials for them, and I did find that pretty funny. And they're talking about how someone had gotten eviscerated with a sword and all that kind of stuff, and someone fell off a roof, and yeah. What's next? Underdog, Rocky, and Bullwinkle. So Penn Farm Girl, they've already done an Underdog movie. Um, it was the same kind of combo. Rocky and Bullwinkle, they did the same thing with Robert De Niro as Boris. That was pretty bad from what I remember. Stormy Scott says Saturday mornings for me as a kid was Mighty Mouse, Underdog, and Top Cat 55 years ago. Then we got color. Recently, Penn Farm Girl, no, thankfully, because the people that remember those cartoons, we are probably the last generation that remember those cartoons because we did see them on TV. And I'm saying we, I'm talking about Generation X. Yeah, so it's I really don't know why they're coming back and doing a Mighty Mouse movie. It's not like anyone's screaming for it. Uh, Slurmy Scott says, yeah, Stanley Tweedle says that Slurmy Scott, you had it good, you had a TV, and then he got a color TV, and he had a remote control. It was his 3-year-old brother that you hit with a broomstick and tell him to change the channel. Joker the Third says, yes, Stanley, not when she aged saggy. There we go. So, one of the other things that I found interesting is YouTube TV just announced that they are raising their prices to $50 a month, along with everybody else. So, all you cord cutters out there that decided to go I was one of them as well, that decided to go with the streaming packages like DirecTV Now, um, Hulu TV, all that kind of stuff. All of them now are $50 a month, no matter what. Depends on what package you get. The packages aren't that great. I ended up going back to cable because cable for less than $50 a month gave me all those same channels plus all the movie channels as well. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me on that one. But yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. The prices are going back up again. Then we're having all these different streaming services coming out with D plus. Hulu lowered their rates, but not by much for me to hang on to them. Andrej Merrick says, or $0 per month on TPB. I don't know what TPB is. Sorry, I don't know what the acronym is. I don't get any of that stuff in my area, is what Viking Bitch says. Yeah. Penn Farm Girl says, I remember black and white TV Slurmy, watch Wizard of Oz every year and still recall the first time seeing it in color in a friend's house. Oh, Pirate Bay. That's what it is. Andres Merrick. Yeah, it's I don't know what's going to happen with that. Again, there's going to have to be a conglomeration that happens, kind of like what Hulu was supposed to be. Hulu was supposed to be this conglomeration of all the big networks getting together and having equal say in it. And of course, now Disney went out on that, so they own Hulu now. Agent Future says cable and satellite TV must be popping champagne in celebration. What terrible decision by YouTube. Yeah. Honestly, YouTube had to do it because of the deal they cut with, wasn't Viacom, it was somebody else. I can't remember offhand, to get their package deal for, it was Discovery is what it was. So to get all the Discovery package and all that stuff, they had to raise their rates. And that's the reason why they're doing it, quite honestly. Joker the Third says you get better sports pack going the cord cutting route. That's if you're into the sports. Quite honestly, I'm not. So I have nothing at all that I want from them. Stormy Scott says we got a threatening email from DirecTV. Either come back or we will raise your rate for AT&T internet connection. Wow. I'm not surprised. Yeah. Exactly, Stanley Tweedle. The ISPs will start throttling YouTube and Netflix. So that is the reason why the House is now trying to repeal net neutrality, which I guess they were successful, is because they want to get rid of that whole throttling thing that's going to happen. So there we go. Net neutrality for the win. That has actually, it's in the process of being repealed right now, Stanley Tweedle. So it's we'll see what happens. I don't hold my breath on that one, but yeah, it's a funky time for media at the moment. So one of the other things, other trailers that dropped, which kind of got lost in all the other trailers that are out there, especially with episode 9, is that on June 21st, Luc Besson's much delayed movie Anna hits theaters. And you're going to say, why was it delayed? This movie was in the can back in 2017. It isn't seen the light of day until June 21st. So Luc Besson had been accused of sexual harassment charges in France. Yeah, in France. And he ended up being acquitted of all of that stuff. And that's why, so it slowed down the production of the movie of what was happening, actually put it on the shelf. And now it's gone, of course, because all those charges were dropped against him. And he was found, he was acquitted of all of those charges, I should say. And there we go. So now the movie's coming out. So what is Anna? Anna is about a Russian model that goes out and kills people. It's really what it is. It's Luc Besson being Luc Besson. And Helen Mirren is her handler. Yeah. So go and take a look at the trailer. I have it up on again on the Facebook page. It was interesting. Yeah, exactly. It's been done, but it's Luc Besson. So it's going to have a twist to it. I'll go and see it. I like Luc Besson. I still am waiting. So speaking of things that need to come out on physical media, is one of Luc Besson's first movies called The Big Blue. If you've never seen The Big Blue, it's a beautiful movie. Awesomely shot. And it's about a guy who's a free diver. So free divers do not use oxygen tanks, just whatever the lung capacity is. And this guy was kind of a freak of nature. They found out that he could actually concentrate oxygen into his brain, kind of like dolphins do. And he was actually tested and everything scientifically for a while there. And for the longest time, he held the free dive record. So it was about his life, kind of a true story, if you will. They, of course, embellished things here and there. Jean Reno played the main character, if I remember correctly. He was in it. I know it's like a really young Jean Reno. Great movie. Rosanna Arquette's in it as well. And beautifully shot movie. And they don't have it available on Blu-ray or DVD here in the United States. In Europe, you can find it fairly easily, but they don't have one that's for this region, unfortunately. That's my great white whale right there, or great white buffalo, if you will. Finding that movie. So, Stanley Tweedle says Fifth Element is still my favorite. Yeah, Fifth Element does hold up. I still just don't like Chris Tucker in that. I mean, I can appreciate him a little bit more now, but when he originally, that was one of the sticking points for me in the movie that kind of just ruined it for me. I don't know why. It was just the screaming that got me. I get that was what the whole thing was, and people really loved that part, but yeah. I saw that when it came out in the theaters. God, I know which theater it was that I saw it in. The theater that I saw it in actually had a balcony. And Mila Jovovich just came out recently and said she would like to see that movie be remade. She wants to see somebody else take a crack at playing Lilu. I believe it was on the press junket tour for Hellboy. She was talking about having the Fifth Element, someone going through and trying to remake the Fifth Element and having someone else take a crack at playing Lilu. I thought that was kind of interesting. I was thinking about it and I was like, Yeah, but do we really need it remade now or this early? I don't know. Apropos dumpster fire, what about Hellboy? I haven't seen it. I'm probably going to go and see it this weekend. I just didn't have enough time, quite honestly. There's a lot of stuff going on at work at the moment, so it's kind of hard for me to plan stuff out. Slumber Scott says, I enjoyed Valerian by Luc Besson. Seems many didn't like it, but it was so visually great. You know what? The visuals are really good, Slurmy. It was the story. The story just sucked. And I read the comics that it's based on, and it really didn't need this. The story was just kind of meh. And yes, Agent Future, La Femme Nikita is freaking awesome. That is one of his best movies. That and actually his best movie for me. It's a toss up between The Big Blue and Leon the Professional. And Leon the Professional is actually the extended cut version versus the Professional, which is just the theatrical version. Gary Oldman in that movie is just fantastic. Yeah. Pen Farm Girl says she was great. We don't need a remake of this or anything. Hey, Kato. Yeah, I'm hearing the reviews are ugly too about Hellboy. It's 2.5 hours long, that movie. I think it just needed some hit. Well, I was also hearing that the producers were coming out and screaming at the director during filming, and also that David Harbour would not do retakes. He would do a one and done, which does not make for a good movie at that point when you have people actively working against everyone on the set to not make a good movie. So there you go. Kato Roan, yes, you missed it. So season 3 is the last season of Future Man. Pen Farm Girl says, love the Professional, never saw the longer cut. I need to add that to the list. I know you keep adding stuff to your list, Pen Farm Girl. All that screaming must have been a Coke shortage. Hey, Mr. Roboto. Still one more season, though. Yep, exactly. Yes, Kato, like I was saying before, I mean, if it's better to have a small amount of something really good and have it go out on top than have a lot of something bad, like CSI. God, what else is there that's been going on? It's just really bad. I don't throw The Simpsons in there. A lot of people will throw The Simpsons under the bus on this one. The Simpsons kind of ebbs and flows, and a lot of their stuff is kind of funny. So I know a lot of people don't agree with me on that, but that is really how it is. And so I was looking to see if I had any more news, but I don't. I don't have any more news because that's the way I roll. Kid Aron says depends on what it gets replaced with. It's Hulu, so who knows? CSI's is never Dennis Blasphemy. I prefer Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay. Supernatural, Walking Dead. Yeah, Pen Farm Girl, exactly. I know they wanted to go 10 years with Walking Dead, but it's a little too long. CSI is never bad, Mr. Roboto. Which CSI are you talking about? Is it CSI Miami, New York, Chicago, Sheboygan, Montclair, Vancouver, CSI New York, CSI Buffalo, or is it yeah, CSI Poughkeepsie, CSI Agua Caliente. Sorry, we're in cities here. There's been a lot of CSIs. All of them is what Mr. Roboto says. Viking bitch. I haven't watched The Walking Dead for about 5 years. Yeah, the last season here, I stopped watching episodes. I pop in like about halfway through the back end of one of the episodes, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I didn't miss anything." Kiddo Run stopped watching Supernatural after the original. It was 5 years, Kiddo Run. So they actually ended the 5 year arc on the fifth season, which was actually a good arc. They did a good job. And then I kept watching up until I want to say it was like season 11, I think, is when I finally had it with Supernatural, and I had to go out of it. It was after Ben Edlund left. So Ben Edlund came in for a little while, and he was writing some episodes, and I love the episodes that he writes. His episodes. So Ben Edlund, if you don't know, he's the creator of The Tick, who's also written the new series and all that stuff. He had an episode of Supernatural that made me laugh hysterically. It was one where, and this is the later episodes. I want to say it was like season 8 or something like that. And it was people that went to a Chinese restaurant, and there's a wishing well that they would throw a penny in, and whatever their wish was would come true. And one of them was a kid who wished for superpowers, and his name was Todd. And he beats the shit out of these bullies. And at one point, he's beating up on Dean. And just before the commercial break, he yells out, "Kneel before Todd." And I just lost it. I thought it was pretty damn funny. That, and also a little girl that wished her teddy bear would come to life. So all these wishes came with consequences, of course. So the teddy bear that came to life was depressed all the time, was trying to commit suicide. And yeah, at one point it actually tries to blow its own brains out, and the stuffing goes flying. It was a wrong episode. It really was, but it was at the same time, it was really fucking funny. Stanley Tweedle says, I stopped somewhere after the infamous death. Okay. Sculpted Leather Art by Viking Mitch Penn. Vikings is ending next season. Season 5 was not the best, but I'll watch until the end. 10 years of Walking Dead is like watching 10 years of drinking. Pretty bad. Yeah. Yeah, there's just so much stuff now. I have trouble going back and rewatching things. I was trying to do that with Venture Brothers, and I mean, I love. Don't get me wrong, I love Venture Brothers. I pick up stuff every single time, but I can't really, I can't do it. I just don't have the time to go back and watch. Watching Dead or Dead Watching. Mr. Roboto says, because he's not the person, but a teddy bear. A lot of people did Stanley. Some people think that Vikings ended with Ragnar, but I still had hope. It was a mistake to focus on his sons. Yeah, they were trying to go through the whole arc of their family, and I get where they were going with it. But yeah, I kind of agree with you. I liked Ragnar. I watched season 1, and then I kind of fell out of it because, again, like I said, there's too much shit to watch. Although for some reason on the History Channel, the one show that kind of draws my interest in quite a bit is Forged in Fire. I don't know why. I really want to try it. I want to try and go out, and I was looking for classes at one point to see if I can find something that did some kind of forging classes, because it looks interesting. I want to give it a shot. Penn Farm Girl, if you want to focus on the children, kill off dad quick like Ned Stark. Yeah. For Slurming Scott says Vikings is a good example of stretching out a series past its sell-by date. Should have ended with Ragnar. Kato Run says watch less Supergirl and more Vikings. I don't know, Kato. See, for the CW shows, they actually have the CW app. It's free, and I can actually watch what's happening there. I don't have to watch it when it's on. I can actually go in and watch later and catch up on all those episodes. even though they have commercials within them. So, well, I'm out of news. They're doing a Viking spinoff. What's it going to be called? Visigoths? Sorry. It's going to be called Barbarians. What, you have us on suspense now, Viking bitch. Oh, so by the way, I was watching Warrior, like I said, the show that's on Cinemax, and it's a pretty bad joke. It's a punny joke, but not really punny, but it's just a bad joke in general. And Hoon Lee is an actor. So the guy who's doing The Warrior also did Banshee. Banshee was a great series on Cinemax. I loved it. Hoon Lee has followed him over from Banshee to Warrior. And he is Chow. He plays Chow, this guy who takes Chinese immigrants off the boat, and he's looking for fighters specifically to bring to the Tong and sign them up with the Tong because they're getting ready to have a war. And at one point, he's talking to a fellow merchant that's out on the street there, and he's telling him a joke. And he says, two nuns are riding in a carriage down a cobblestone street. And one of the nuns says to the other, she goes, I haven't come this way before. And the other nun replies to her, maybe it's the cobblestones. But I don't know why, I just found it damn funny. Even though it was a really bad joke. Penn Farm Girl says, Dennis, if someone is considering cutting the cord, would you say Hulu is the best choice? I have no choice. It's part of my condo fees, but a friend is looking into it. Oh, it depends on what they're looking for channel-wise. I would say first look at so Sling's quality is pretty bad. I'll say that much. So Sling is your bottom of the line choice. Everything else is going to be $50 a month, pretty much now at this point. So Hulu TV, YouTube TV, those are both $50 a month. And so is DirecTV Now, starting off at $50 a month. I think with DirecTV Now, you get the best options on channels. I'm not sure. I haven't seen what their new channel lineup is. And now they've made their new deal with Viacom. They've got all the channels. There you go. Viking Bitch says Sling is awful. Don't go with Sling. So, yeah. Stay away from that. So I would say, yeah, take a look at Hulu TV, YouTube TV, and, DirecTV Now. Is there anything else out there? I think that's it. Currently paying $140, so $50 sounds good when it's mentioned. Yeah. There you go. Just so you know, though, DirecTV Now doesn't have contracts, and they raised. So when I started off with DirecTV Now, I started off before when they first started in. So I had my service at $30 a month. They raised my rates in November to $40, and then they just raised it again to $50, which would be this coming up month. It would be raised up to $50 a month. That's a 66% increase within 6 months. Not good because there's no contract involved and there's no price guarantee on that. So they can raise it as much as they want anytime they want, just so you know. But that's the way they're all going at this point in time. Yes, Mr. Roboto, I have watched all of Z Nation, and I love Z Nation. Z Nation is just a good time. It really is. Z-Weed. Z-Weed is pretty damn funny. Slurming Scott says DirecTV. Are you talking about DirecTV or DirecTV Now, Slurming Scott? Because DirecTV is the satellite portion of it. DirecTV Now is the streaming service. So DirecTV Now starts at $50, but then you pay extra for HD. No, see, for DirecTV Now, you get all your channels in HD. So yeah, it's what is it? But the thing is, if you want the premium channels like HBO and all that kind of stuff, it's $15 for HBO, which they raised it. It used to be $5, but yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. Penn Farm Girl says Viking Machuca, the equivalent of probably a $120 to $150 package for about $35 per unit because all 1,800 are forced to be customers. Yeah. Stanley Tweedle's Z Nation is actually pretty funny. They take the zombie trope and had fun with it, and it's more of a comedy. It's a horror comedy, if you will. And yes, I love iZombie. iZombie should be starting up here fairly soon, next month, as a matter of fact. So I should be able to do that. Stormy Scott says, Yikes, I'm already out of date. Didn't even know about DirecTV now. Yep. Mr. Roboto, do you think the Asylum could pump out another hit series soon? Mr. Roboto, if you have Netflix, they are doing a prequel to Z Nation called Black Summer. Black Summer? Yeah, Black Summer. And it's supposed to be a serious take on Z Nation. And it's already out. It's out on Netflix. So, and that's also from the Asylum. I knew somebody who used to work for the Asylum. They weren't part of the Asylum. No. You know what I mean? So Z Nation is funny. I didn't know that. Yeah. So Stanley Tweedle, the first couple of episodes, they try and do a serious zombie thing for Z Nation. Then it starts becoming a comedy as you go along. And it's kind of like they didn't know where they wanted to go with it. And then they become a comedy. So by the second season, it's full on comedy. And it's pretty damn funny. Penn Farm Girl says Z Nation was over the top comic books. Yeah, it was over the top comic book stuff. It had a lot of things to do with experimentation. And like I said, Z-weed. It's a pot grown from zombie. It's grown out of zombies and also using zombies as mulch, and it gives you a little extra kick to the weed. There's also zombie tumbleweeds, if you will. So like zombies will roll down a hill, they get stuck together, and they start making more and more zombies into a gigantic ball, and they start rolling down the street. Kid O'Rowan says, I missed the Ball of Zombies cameo on Z Nation. Yeah. Yeah, and Doc is one of the best characters. Mr. Roboto, you're right. He is. Slurming Scott, Penn Farm Girl, 1,800. What a homeowner's meeting that must be. We only have 16 patio homes in our HOA. Yeah, I actually just joined the board of my HOA here. So I became a board member because no one else would step up. And we needed a third. So Z-weed is not kelp. It is not. It is pot. Yes. Penn Farm Girl says, but they still kill off characters that we cared about and missed. Yeah, that's the other thing about Z Nation that was actually good is they would kill off characters, or characters would disappear. They would not disappear, but they would leave and they get separated from the group and maybe come back next season or something like that. So it wasn't bad. So with that said, I'm going to let you guys go because someone has a date with the groomer and doesn't know it as of yet. Oh, she's stretching. She's looking at me like she knows something's up. She's not making a run for it as of yet. Uh-oh. Maybe she is. But let me see who's here. Oh, so all we have, thank you, Mork, Scopal of the Rock by Viking Bitch, Slurmy Scott, Stanley Tweedle, and I saw Penn Farm Girl in there earlier. I don't know why she's not showing up. That's kind of weird. But also, Tomo Arigato, Mr. Roboto, for showing up. Stanley Tweedle, I've already said, didn't I? Yes, I did. A Little Crispy Tenders for making that appearance there. Kato Roan. And I know there's some other people that showed up here, but are not popping up. on my participants there on my list. So thank you to everybody in the chat. Also, thank you to all my subscribers that have shown up at this point. If you want to be a subscriber, hit the subscribe button, of course. Also, please hit the like button if you like what you see. If you don't like what you see, I also say you can hit the dislike button. I ask down in the comment section, tell me what it is you don't like. Give me some constructive criticism about what I can do to change things or make things better. And if you want to see when I'm going to be on live next, hit the little bell. If you already hit it, don't hit it again. It will unclick it. So you can also go into the bell and set the settings so you can get more or less notifications depending on what your what your preference is. And you get a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you when I'm on, live here. So with that said, if you're still on the fence, also you can take a look up here. There's going to be a video. It plucks a video from my video library and plays it. Basically, a video that is tailored to your likes. It's going to pluck it up and put it up here. If you like what you see, then you can hit the subscribe button. That's going to be someplace over in this area. I believe it's over the tick's face usually, so somewhere around here. My schedule is up on suspendedfanimation.com. It is also up on my Facebook page for Suspended Fanimation, and I have a Twitter and an Instagram as well. So there we go. Stormy Scott says, see you all during the week or during the next SBO. Great chat. Thanks, Dennis. You're welcome. Thanks, guys. Get better taste, Dennis. I can't. I only taste what I taste like. There we go. Yeah, it was a bad joke. So there we go. Again, take a look at the videos. Hit the subscribe button. I'm going to let you guys go. Have a good weekend. I will see you tomorrow for Game of Thrones. There we go. Have a good day, and don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may find yourself being co-opted by Disney, and no one really wants that. See you, everybody. Have a good day.